Ah yes, the Super Mario series. A franchise that has been etched into the hearts of so many gamers, thanks in part to the series' great games. Some of the best games I've ever played are from this legendary series. One thing about it that I think stands out is the series' secrets and Easter eggs. And that's why today I will be counting down my favorite Mario series secrets and Easter eggs. Now, I'm only going to count Easter eggs in the actual Mario franchise, so any Mario Easter eggs in other games are out. Sorry, Chain Chomp. I will be looking at the spin-offs, but one secret or Easter egg per game. And there may be a few spoilers here and there on this list, and of course, this is all my opinion. There are secrets to be uncovered, so let the chaos commence! Mario Kart is such a fantastic spin-off. I could go on for hours talking about how much I love this spin-off, but we're here to talk about secrets and Easter eggs, and this is but the first of many you'll see on this list from Mario Kart. For this entry, we're looking into Mario Kart 8 for Easter eggs. So, what is it? Is it Koopa Troopa Beach off in the distance of Sunshine Airport? Nope. Is it the 64 miles per hour on Toad's Turnpike? Nope. Is it the music that plays before and after a race in Mute City? A close contender, but let's go with something that isn't so easy to find. On the water park course, drive up to the point where you get to the merry-go-round, then drive into the merry-go-round and listen. Yep, it's the same music that plays in the merry-go-round in Big Boo's Mansion in Super Mario 64 and 64DS. Of course, unlike those games, there won't be any boos on the racetrack coming after you. Sure, it's not the greatest Easter egg in the world, but giving a nod to an older entry in the franchise with an Easter egg that isn't in plain sight is well deserving of this list. I remember when I got the original DS for Christmas one year. It was so big. And a game I asked for the system was Super Mario 64 DS. You see, even though I had played some of the original Super Mario 64, I never owned it or experienced it fully. This remake was my chance to do just that, and I enjoyed it so. But I was in for a surprise to see that you start the game as Yoshi. Yeah, it was a nice change of pace, but Yoshi is the weakest character in the game. You can't break any blocks with his ground pound. However, to compensate for this, Yoshi was able to gobble up enemies with that tongue of his, lay eggs, and throw them at enemies. Scattered around the world of Super Mario 64 DS, there are these tiny little crates. As Mario, Luigi, and Wario, you can pick these up and throw them, but Yoshi can't pick up items. Instead, he has that infamous stretchy tongue of his. So instead of picking up the crate, he'll swallow it. Now, he can spit it out, but what happens when he swallows it and lays an egg? How does that even work? Yes, when Yoshi swallows and lays an egg of the crates, the eggs become box-shaped, kinda like those box-shaped watermelons that grow in Japan. This is probably where the inspiration of this came from. Sure, this and number 10 aren't the greatest Easter eggs in the world, but it's the time they took to put in this neat little detail that puts it on this list. Various Nintendo franchises have had several secrets and Easter eggs to the Mario franchise. But like I said, I'm not including Easter eggs related to the Mario series from other games. However, I did not say I wouldn't include Easter eggs in Mario games that relate to other franchises. Sure, there are things like the Pokeball in Super Mario Galaxy and the Blue Falcon in Mario Kart, but I think the one in Super Mario 3D Land has the best one. So when you begin World 5-2, you are treated to this. An entire level inspired by the over-top view of the classic 2D Zelda games. That is pretty freaking cool. It even transitions from room to room just like in the overhead Zelda games. You even get to hear the Zelda chime in this room if you light up all the torches with fireballs. That is, if you have the Fire Flower power-up in hand. And trust me, You won it because there's a star coin to be collected from this room. Sure, it's not littered with complex puzzles. In fact, it's kinda on the easy side. But it's a nice way to shake up the level design of the game. Perhaps we'll get a Mario-inspired level in a Zelda game one day. Super Mario RPG gave us a unique Easter egg at Booster Tower in the form of Mario transforming into an 8-bit version of himself if he goes around this curtain. It was so cool that Nintendo decided to put it in some of the Paper Mario games. But in my opinion, the best is the one from Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door. To see this Easter egg, go to the X-Knot Fortress, find this room, spring jump to where the opened air vent is, find the other air vent, turn thin and fall into the dressing room. You'll be in a closed dressing stall. Open the curtain and you get this. Unlike in the other games, this version of the Easter egg makes all of your party members 8-bit as well. And you can even change your clothes to the Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi colors. Sadly, you can't use your abilities other than jumping, and the Easter egg ends once you leave the room. But it's still a pretty neat secret in the game, and you can activate this secret anytime you want, unlike in Super Mario RPG. Winning a Grand Prix in Mario Kart is a crucial task in most of the series, probably because you'll most likely unlock something if you get first place. Sadly, this is not the case in Mario Kart 64, but when you do place third, second, or first in a Grand Prix, you are treated to this. Wait, is that Peach's castle from Super Mario 64? That is so cool! I wish I could drive around the castle ground in my cart. Well, you can, and most of you probably know this. But to those that don't, to do this, I suggest going into time trials so you won't have to worry about winning a race. Select Royal Raceway, go through the track as you normally would until you land on the ground after being sent really far with that speed boost. Keep driving until you see a path on the right. Take the path, and boom! You are on the castle grounds of Peach's Castle from Super Mario 64. It is nearly identical to how the grounds are in Super Mario 64. But be careful, for if you fall into the water, you'll be put back onto the racetrack. It's just so cool that Nintendo even added this into Mario Kart 64. So when I heard that Mario Kart 8 was going to have Royal Raceway as a retro track, I got excited because I could now go into those very same castle grounds and view it in glorious HD! And the castle grounds are gated up. Why? Mario Strikers Charged, you are such an awesome game. You take the game of soccer and make it all crazy and violent, and I love it! When I heard that they were making a sequel to Super Mario Strikers, I had to get it. I couldn't wait to see how they improved the game. They added the use of having different sidekicks as opposed to having 3 of the same kind. They added new stages, super attacks, the Mega Strike, the ability to block the Mega Strike, and they even expanded the roster of playable characters, adding new faces not present in the previous game. And where's the Super Team? The Super Team. You know, the awesome team of robots from the first Mario Strikers game. Where are they? They're not playable in the game? Next Level Games and Nintendo, what were you thinking? Wait, they are in the game? Yes, the Super Team is in Mario Strikers Charged, just not as a playable character. In fact, the place in the game where you can see them is probably the weirdest place to find them. To see them, simply play the credits. It's nice to see them in the game, but the way they were put into the game is both hilarious and sad. It's hilarious because, from the sound of it, Bowser is having one of the Super Team robots clean the floor. But it's sad because this is what they are reduced to. Cleanup crew. The robot eventually runs off stage, all sad because the Super Team is not playable in the game. For shame, Nintendo! For shame! Well, at least you didn't outright forget about them. I don't know what it is with Nintendo putting creepy ghosts in Mario games as of late. Sure, they aren't the easiest things to find, but it's still creepy. We've got the ghosts from Super Mario 3D Land that kinda started this trend, as we start seeing more of these ghosts in games like Captain Toad Treasure Tracker. Go play that game, by the way. But in all honesty, it just can't beat what Shiverburn Galaxy has to offer. I'm pretty sure you all know about this, but since I'm here and have time to kill, I might as well talk about it. So if you select Shiverburn Galaxy, go into first person view and look to the left and then up. You'll see 3 shadowy figures looking down upon you. Not moving. At all. As if they're waiting for the opportune moment to do something. What's even creepier about these figures is the name of the file they are attached to. The file name for the background is called Beyond Hell Valley Sky, and the file name for the texture for the figures is Hell Valley Sky Tree. Not only are these file names weird due to the names not being something you'd see in a Mario game, but it's also because these figures aren't even trees. Weird and yet interesting, and that's why it's on the list. This next secret is so funny that I couldn't leave it off the list. So you know how in Mario Kart you can get squished and flattened by thwomps, cars, and pretty much anything that can stomp you? Well, Mario Kart Wii added in something that I'm sure no one saw coming. To see this secret, select a stage that has a hazard that can stomp on you. The best choices in the game are Bowser's Castle, N64 Bowser's Castle, and Toad's Factory. Once you have found the stomping hazards, turn your cart around to where it's facing the wrong direction. When this happens, Lakitu will appear to tell you to go the other way. What you want to do is ignore him and place him directly underneath one of the stomping hazards, and you'll be greeted with this. Nintendo, that is freaking great, adding in such a hilarious Easter egg. Sadly, you can only perform this in Mario Kart Wii. It will not work in any other games. I've tried. But hey, if you ever wanted revenge on Lakitu for taking your coins in Mario Kart 7 and Mario Kart 8, you can always turn to Mario Kart Wii to beat him up in the most hilariously satisfying way possible. Or you can just stomp on his head, whatever works for you. I gotta give thanks to the guys at GameXplain for making a video about this. If I hadn't watched this, I wouldn't have known about it. And this is a really cool secret, what with how expansive it is with its detail. This is gonna take a lot of explaining, so here we go. Let's start at Baby Park in Mario Kart Double Dash. Try driving around until you see a helicopter, a Yoshi helicopter to be exact. This is the same Yoshi helicopter that appears in Yoshi Circuit. You want to know what else appears in Yoshi Circuit? The Daisy Cruiser, which is also a racetrack in itself. There's also another boat that appears, called the Sunshine, and it appears that both of these boats came from the Peach Beach racetrack, where the Sunshine is docked and the Daisy Cruiser is off in the distance. Now let's go back to Baby Park. Drive around until you see what looks like a volcano with a face. This is the same volcano from DK Mountain, but Baby Park isn't the only place where you could see it. If you go onto the final bridge on Dino Dino Jungle and turn perpendicular to the bridge, you can see the volcano. It is burning up as if it were about to erupt, just like on the final lap of DK Mountain. Now, let's go to Mushroom Bridge. If you drive close to the pipes here, you can see Peach's Castle in the distance. Peach's Castle appears in Mario Circuit. Now, if you drive onto the path toward the pipe, you'll notice an island with tall mushroom formations on it. This is actually Mushroom City, and on Mushroom City, you can actually spot Mushroom Bridge in the distance. And not only that, but Mushroom City is also the setting for Double Dash's Rainbow Road, which hangs right above the city. This whole concept of a connected world in Mario Kart Double Dash is so fascinating. The developers put a lot of thought and detail into making the locations in the game feel connected as one huge world. And it's these kinds of details that truly show just how much the developers love their creations. I've only seen a few games pull off something like this, and I'm eager to see a game in today's gaming world try to do the same, like the new Wii U Zelda, and maybe Splatoon. I know Xenoblade Chronicles X is gonna do it, and it's gonna be amazing. Compared to number 2, this last secret isn't necessarily the greatest, but this secret is kinda personal to me. Probably because I feel like I'm the only one on YouTube that has actually talked about this. I have checked really hard on YouTube to see if anyone has brought up even a mention of this. And there has been no video besides my own that has. And it's a shame because the trivia behind this is kind of fascinating. But enough suspense. Number 1 is the Dulpic posters from Super Mario Sunshine. Now, for those that haven't seen my Level Select episode on Serena Beach, you're probably asking, what? And you know what? I don't blame you for asking, because this really isn't something you just stop and pay attention to. In Hotel Delfino, if you go into the room above the room with the crates where you find the pineapple for Yoshi, you'll notice some posters on the wall. Now, what you're supposed to do is rip one of the posters by spraying it so you can go into the next room. But instead of doing that, why don't you stop and take a closer look at these posters? Keep in mind that these are the only posters like this in the game. They both have the word Dulpic spelled on them. Now, you're all probably saying, hey, it looks like they were trying to spell the word dolphin but failed. Well, that's not really the case. Yes, it does seem like they were trying to spell dolphin, and it makes sense since Isle Delfino is in the shape of a dolphin. But the word that they were actually trying to spell is the word Dulfic. What's the significance of the word Dulfic, you ask? Well, you see, in the Japanese version of Super Mario Sunshine, aside from the voice acting, which is in English, Isle Delfino is called Dulfic Island. Nearly all of the text that would read Delfino in the English versions would instead read Dulfic in the Japanese version. Out of all of the text that was changed from Dulfic to Delfino in the English versions, this was the only thing in the game that didn't get changed. What's even more interesting is that it's misspelled, but it's obvious that they were trying to say Dulfic. It's unknown whether it was left in as a reference or something they just forgot to edit out. Seriously, I find this to be very interesting, and I'm surprised this hasn't been talked about on YouTube. Yuri of Win hasn't brought it up? Did You Know Gaming hasn't brought it up? Heck, not even Beta64 has brought it up. In fact, I'm surprised Beta64 didn't bring this up in his Super Mario Sunshine beta video, because the website where he got the information for this video mentions these posters. Well, regardless, this is still an interesting piece of trivia. I'm Chaos Key 4013, and if Nintendo does decide to make a Super Mario Sunshine remake, please, for the love of all that is sacred and pure, please, Nintendo, put in Tramplin' Stew!